Donington Park. Hello YouTube, I qualified second this week. My car's the white car, number 2, right there. I had a lot of factors working in my favor this week. It was a low strength of field, only very few cars entered, maybe 11 or 12. It wasn't very many, and I qualified second. A very strong qualifying result. The guy in front of me, that green car, that bright green car out in front of me, he qualified at least a second faster than me, and I qualified at least a second faster than the next guy back. So I felt confident that we were going to be really strung out to begin with, and I was very much hoping that, as long as we could get clean through that first hairpin turn, I figured that the rest of the race would just sort of, string out and be very safe. And in fact, that is exactly what happened in this race. I was able to pick up a few tips, if you will, from the pole sitter at the beginning of the race before he completely disappeared. Because I noticed as we came up to the kink up here on the straight here, he slowed down and was almost immediately on the gas after he hit that apex. And I was more thinking I had to hit the gas at the apex of the second part of that kink. So, I picked up on that right away when I saw what he had done. But then I also noticed going into this hairpin, he tended to dive for the apex way too early. And I think that might have caused him some trouble later in the race. I also noticed that he was doing the same kind of thing on this turn. And that actually, I think, was a faster way through this particular turn. He would dive down and do his braking very, very late. So he got through the first half of that turn very quickly, whereas I would brake well before. There's a little crest before that hairpin, and I was braking before the crest because I wanted to make sure that the car stayed settled as I made my way into that turn. So his method seemed a little bit faster than to me, but it was definitely a lot more risky. And speaking of risk, we came up with a big risk on this blinky car that came out of the pits in front of us. I was kind of hoping that it would slow him down. That didn't happen, but fortunately, he didn't slow me down either because he intermittently skidded out of the way in that very dangerous turn right back there. So the rest of the race kind of consisted of me having to wait and hope that the pole sitter would make a mistake. Lap after lap went by, and he was just slowly pulling away from me. I didn't see any way that I was ever going to be able to find it within myself to catch up to him, and it was looking less and less likely that he was going to make any mistake. For whatever reason, I felt confident that I could do this without making any mistakes, and given last week's performance, I don't know why I thought that, but nevertheless, that's what I thought, and I could not see what I was going to put in this video. I mean, you don't want to watch 8 minutes of me following somebody else around from beginning to end and end up in second place where I started. That would be boring. There's got to be a better way, and it showed up right here. It was a chink in the other guy's armor. I had completely lost sight of him, but as I came up to the kink on this back straight here on lap 8, that's where I saw it. I looked up ahead, and sure enough, look at that. He had lost it going through that kink, and that gave me a chance to sort of catch up, and it wasn't quite enough to pass him. In fact, I wasn't really caught up all that much, but again, he's weak on this last hairpin, and that put me right up on his bumper. So I thought, this would have been an ideal situation to pass him, but he was just so much faster than me. From this, from here for the next several laps, next 2 laps, he just steadily pulled away from me again. And this is lap 10. We're going down that straight into the Melbourne hairpin, and you could see that I was behind the leader, but not too close. But yeah, he lost control right there, and that gives me the chance that I've been waiting for the whole race. I managed to get by him, and it actually worked out really well because I was starting to worry, he can still catch up and pass me. But if we look behind me, you see he sort of had a lot of trouble getting out of the grass, and I think a couple of other guys slipped past him, and that pretty much sealed it up for me. It was only it was 4 more laps until the end, and I was able to stick it out. as I ease it onto the front stretch here and take the checkered flag. That's right. This is my first win of iRacing for the Road Series ever. So I'm really happy with the results. I won't be racing the Spec Racer Ford next week, so I'm not sure if there'll be a video next week. Meanwhile, take care.